stream this. There we go.
Word of God. Let's go.
Hey,
Let's go.
what's going on,
It's
brother?
the boy.
What the fuck, bro? My bad, guys. That was definitely my fucking bad.
No,
Total,
dude, not at all.
No
Total,
problem.
total shit show. You guys got a pull-up bar in the background. This is amazing. What the
Oh,
fuck?
we're really about it.
We
We're really
just
about it.
did some pull-ups and push-ups. That's why I'm out of breath.
You guys are just like in a nice pump on. I fucking love it. It's tremendous.
Oh yeah.
Great. I love it. Let's go.
Yes,
What's
sir,
up,
bro.
bro? Again, sorry about the delay here.
No, not at all, brother. Don't even worry about it. Thanks for taking the time. We appreciate you. We're both huge fans of everything you do on Instagram, everything you push. So
Dude,
it's our
I think
pleasure.
in terms of Connecticut, we're probably your two biggest advocates. We're just out
Yeah.
here sharing your posts, like telling people, guys, follow this guy if you don't want to be a lazy piece of crap. No, I don't say that exactly, but
Yeah, no.
we do appreciate what you do, and we try and spread the word around as much as we can.
I appreciate that, dude. Seriously, yeah, I appreciate you guys. And it's funny because I think when you had reached out, I was just like, yeah, like fuck it, let's go. And I'm glad we got this worked in because like a lot of people will reach out sometimes and they're just like, oh yeah, you want to come on my shit? And I'm like, you don't even follow me, bro. Like, why the fuck? I'm like, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys, man, a ton.
No, man, yeah, and same goes for you, man. Because, like I said, I mean, for someone to have such a big platform, like you're such, from the interactions I've had with you, you're such a nice guy, and I appreciate it. Like you're not a fucking asshole, which with the following you have, you're entitled to be. You know what I mean?
Definitely not though. That's the fucking thing. I don't know where these people get off. Like, bro, okay, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I have a couple 100,000 followers on Instagram. I have whatever it is, a million on. Like, who cares, bro? Like, who fucking cares? Like,
Right.
these people who like get themselves off at like fucking bro, you have a couple 100,000 followers on Instagram. Stop. Like,
Right.
just fucking stop doing
Right.
whatever you're doing. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, I'm incredibly thankful and like I'm very grateful to help as many people as I can. Like I hope the number keeps growing because I want to help people, but it's
Yeah.
like, bro, I don't fucking care about that goddamn number, you know what I
Right.
mean? And so it's people are not actually entitled to be fucking dickheads. And so that's my big thing. Like
Yeah.
don't be a fucking asshole. So yeah,
No,
it's
dead ass, brother. No, that's awesome though, and yeah, and I gotta say, I think I was following you. I think we started following you maybe at like 25,000 or something like that. Like
No
Oh,
way,
wow.
really?
something like that. Yeah, I mean, because I don't know how. I think it was last year I first had reached out to you to just give you props, like just being like, I fuck with your channel. And it was just wild to see how rapidly you shot up. But I mean, it makes sense. Like I've said, your content's incredibly useful and it's realistic. It's not just you take Yohimbine as a fat burner, like what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
much so realistic for the average person who's not trying to be a fucking bodybuilder, but still trying to be in shape.
Yeah.
But
It's funny, man, because like even if it's so funny to me because like personally I've kind of been on both sides of the coin where it's like I've been and still to this day I think I'm very much still like kind of I'm very like regimented, I'm very routine, I'm very doing what I'm doing, but it's like if you want to be a bodybuilder, it's like you be consistent, you get your workouts, you get your steps each. It's just like it's all the same simple shit, and that's
Right.
where people think, like they always try to overcomplicate everything. And like I had somebody yesterday or a couple days ago on TikTok, they were saying something about how insulin makes you store fat, whatever, and I'm just like you're overcomplicating things for no apparent reason. Like you
Right.
don't have to be doing this. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it can be much more simple. Simple doesn't equal easy, but it can be a lot more simple. And so it's funny that people they get so worked up, and it's just like a bunch of simple things that if you can just get those simple things down, again, albeit not easy, but it can be kind of a simple process. So yeah.
Right. No, just the idea of like compounding interest. You do small things every day, it all ends up adding up.
100%, bro. Yeah. And that's where like but by the way, it's with fucking anything, right? Like and
Right.
that's where like I'm not I don't claim to like be preaching any crazy new shit. It's like this is
Right.
just common sense stuff. But
Yeah.
I think with how crazy, especially for whatever reason, and I'm sure it's probably the same in other areas. I live under a rock other than my fitness stuff. And so it's like just with the fitness space, I know it can be so overly crazy, complicated, this, that, and the other. And so I think when people are just like doing these simple, basic things. It's like, oh wow, this person's, not selling me a detox tea to make me shit my butthole out. You know what I mean? It's like, oh
Yeah.
wow, like let me listen to this.
Badass.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we like your page so much, because you're not, like you said, giving like all these like niche tips and stuff. It's just generally good advice that applies to many different fields. Like I look at your posts and I apply that to like my schoolwork, like just work in general, like even building this stream and stuff. Like a lot of these concepts of like uh, perseverance, like sticking to it,
Yeah.
not giving up, like trusting the process. Like all of these things are very important, I think, in leading a healthy lifestyle. So I love it so much because it really just works. Like the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And it's funny because I've like I talk about this a lot on my podcast, but I always talk about how like fitness is just kind of like my vehicle, but a lot of the things I say and believe is just more about that. Like I don't know if I guess you could call it personal development, but it's just more like
Yeah.
simple. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just
Self-care.
simple,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No,
yeah,
I think personal
exactly.
development's a good phrase for that.
Yeah, yeah, and so I think that's one of my goals is like like I was in my clubhouse Facebook group. It's like my coaching program
Hmm.
earlier, and we had mentioned they were like, oh yeah, like she's crushing it with her weight loss, but she's like, I got a raise at my work because they get
Mm,
more productive and more confident, and I'm like, that's fucking badass, right? So
right.
yeah, of course, like lose fat, build muscle, get your shit together, but it's like that is going to transfer into all other areas of your life, which I'm just like super. That's a really, really big thing for me personally.
Right. No, and that is a big thing because that's one of the things I noticed. Is that just like if you can get your discipline in one area of your life, it tends to bleed out into other areas, both for good and bad things. So
Yeah.
it's like when you're lacking in one area, you're gonna see that in everything else. So
Mhm.
no, that's super sick, man.
Yeah, and I think fitness is such a great parallel to just everything else in life because you have to do it on your own, so to speak. Like, of
Right.
course, like someone like myself, who like I'm here and I'm helping you, hold you accountable, whatever, whatever. But like, you gotta get the fuck up. You
Yeah.
gotta eat the food or not eat the food. You gotta get the fucking workout. It's like there's not much that you can just skate by on. And so when you go to your health and fitness, and when you go to your work, and when you go to being a parent, when you go to all these things, it's like you have the control of what you can like just you can hold on to, and you
Right.
can mold that thing however you want to. And it's one of the main reasons why I love it so much is because of that confidence and that self-esteem and that self-belief in yourself to be able to say like, man, like whatever the fuck I gets thrown at me, I got this shit. And
Right.
for me, I don't know a better way to live the only life that we have here other than like knowing you're unstoppable. Like why the fuck else would you even be here otherwise? That's a shitty life to live. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's like, that's really what I hopefully am trying to continue to encourage people. It's like if no matter what, you won't quit and you'll get through anything, you become like, especially in today's day and age where I think like mental health issues, anxiety, depression, all these things. And it's like, I don't know if you guys were looking to have this conversation or not, but
Oh
it's
no,
like,
we can't.
100%.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like,
We're not
it's like
trying
all
to get you canceled, Eric. You have the platform. We
No,
don't. We don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
no, but it's funny because like I've just personally seen like a lot of people I've coached work with message me and they're just like, I feel way less anxious. I'm way less pissed off. I'm way less frustrated. Like I have way less stress because I just
Hmm.
know, yeah, shit's gonna be hard, but like I'm gonna get through it no matter what. And there's a calming sense to that when you truly understand that. And again, I
Yeah.
think coming full circle, fitness can really bring that to your life.
Well,
Absolutely.
it's the physical manifestation of that. You know what I mean? And the idea that no one can give you any like for a lot of things, no one can give you anything. You kind of have to take it. And so I definitely agree. And you know, I just because I don't know, when I started getting into fitness, it was like one of the things I realized was that, which is like, there's a beauty in getting it by yourself or like getting it in, because how tough is your day gonna be when you just squatted until your legs were wobbly? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you might have some emotional stuff, but nothing's gonna be as physically strenuous as that. It's like you're prepped. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
100.
yeah. So, Eric, I wanted to ask you a question. So we got a bunch of random questions for you, but I
So,
wanted to start if you could tell us a little bit about like your past, what got you into fitness, maybe a little bit of where you're from, and
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
Take it back
yeah,
as early as you possibly can,
yeah,
so we can go
uh,
chronologically. Because honestly, like me and Denny are just interested in learning more about your story. Because I don't think you really talk about it as much on your Insta and stuff. So
yeah,
so yeah. So tell us how, like,
yeah.
where'd you come from?
Yeah, for sure, man. So I grew up. You're right. I don't talk much about myself. I'm not very good, so I'll try for you. Right. Um, I grew up in like a very small town in Maryland, in
mm,
Calvert County, in Huntingtown, Maryland, and it's fucking like I actually just had to go back there this past week because I had to watch my parents' dogs, whatever, whatever. But like it took me like a fucking hour to get to like a Chick-fil-A. You know what I mean? Like it was really just like in the fucking middle of nowhere.
right,
Funny enough, they had a Chick-fil-A now there, which pissed me off because I would have used that as fucking, you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's where I'm from, man. Grew up, I would say lower middle class. Like we weren't like dirt poor by any
sure,
means, but I always remember my best friend, still one of my best friends to this day. I love the guy, but for his 18th birthday, he got like a brand new Shelby GT Mustang, and for my 18th birthday, I got like $50 in a card. You know what I
right,
mean? It's just
yeah,
like
I do,
there was, there was always kind of that going on, and so I got into fitness around the age of 16, 17. Started off, and I remember this vividly. I remember the first time I ever walked into the gym. I remember the doors kind of opening up, and there was the front desk, and I saw like the cable machines in the background. I could like take you through the entire thing. I was with one of my friends. His name was Mark Cox, and like we were just kind of going through, and I had done like freshman football lifting and like that was cool, but like
sure,
walking into a gym was like a whole different experience for me.
mm,
And I remember just walking in there, and I shit you not, and this is gonna sound really stupid, and I don't, if my dad was laughs at this to this day, but I went home that day from the gym, and I was just like, I told my dad, I was like, man, like I love this. Like I want to do this for the rest of my life. And he's just like, okay, champ, like you're 16, like you've been to the gym, you've been to the gym one time, like let's fucking chill. But I loved it. Like I loved everything about it. And it's actually funny. One of the things I love the most, I started off because like who doesn't want to get fucking jacked, right? Like
of
that's the only thing I
course,
wanted.
no,
Just
of
get jacked,
course,
right?
mm,
But literally, because I remember like 2 weeks after I started going, it really switched for me where fitness and working out was one of the only things that like again you couldn't buy a body. You can do plastic
right,
surgery, whatever, whatever, right? But like you can't buy like if you are building muscle, getting stronger, that's on you, and that's a direct reflection of the work that you put in or didn't put in. And I fucking love that. And I'm
yeah,
like, it doesn't matter what else is going on. Like if I just show up to this fucking thing day in and day out, I'm gonna get the results from it. And I was growing up, I was very big into sports, and so basketball, football, baseball, all that good
mm,
stuff, and it was always very team oriented. But as the latter years of high school kind of came, I was like, I like doing shit by myself, and like I like
yeah,
just like accomplishing things. And so again, fitness was more like it was directly solely on me and my work ethic. And so that's really where I started to kind of fall in love with it. It was because of that kind of aspect to it. And then, I quickly, because I was just so fucking obsessed with it and I loved it, a lot of my friends, a lot of just people in the gym would like want to work out with me because they're like, yo,
yeah,
like you're fucking always there, right?
right,
And so I'm like,
yeah,
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 cool. And so, started working out with people, and I just also quickly saw that like the purpose kind of transformed into whenever I would see somebody else like hit a new PR, or I would see somebody else push themselves and they'd be like, holy shit, I didn't know I could fucking do that. Or they would lose 10, 15, 20 pounds or start being consistent. It's just like that stuff to me was like my like there's nothing to this day that matches like when I see somebody like start being consistent, drop 15 pounds, hit a
mm,
PR, like push past what they think they can do. It's like forever for me, that'll just put me on the high of all highs. You know what I mean?
right,
And so
right,
that's why I was like, all right, well, fuck it. Like I hate school, like fucking absolutely hate school. And
right,
so
right,
I was like, I want to do something with this. And so it kind of that's how it kind of started. That kind of transition to there was a big kind of like I'm very thankful for my parents for this, but I think a lot of my friends were going to college, and again, I just hated school and I didn't want
right,
to have the debt because again, my mommy and daddy weren't paying for my college, right? So
right,
it's like
exactly,
I was like,
Yeah, it's a big
number
decision.
one, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, fuck getting $300,000 in debt. And then number two, like, I don't want to do this anyway.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I just took like community college just to like not have to pay my dad rent. And then I worked at GNC, the supplement store, actually for about 2.5 years. Again, still in the fitness space, still kind of doing my thing, working out all the time, loving it. And then, eventually I moved to where I am now, which is Northern Virginia. And I took a job training people in person that one of my buddies was doing at the time. I had to sleep on his couch for the first month because I
Right.
didn't have I didn't have nothing, right? So that was actually my one of my assistant coaches. She was making a joke. She's like, "That must have been a big couch." I'm like, "No, it was a fucking tiny ass couch. 6'4", like 260." I'm like, it blew dick.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, man. So that's kind of like how it all started. I started training people. I'll be 27 this year. So about
Okay.
when I turned 20, that's when I started training people in person. Did that for a really long time. Was at any moment in time in like the program I had, I would have like anywhere from like 250 to 300 people like enrolled in the program in a 1 month time frame, which
Hmm.
was always pretty much the top of whatever our program was kind of running, and so was pretty successful doing that. And I owe a lot of what I know now to that because I mean you can imagine the amount of people I did it for 3.5 years, and so the amount of people that I got to train in person for
Yeah.
3.5 years before anybody knew me on social. I was not doing social media. Nobody fucking knew what the fuck I was doing, right?
Yeah.
I saw so many people and worked with so many different people and learned so much about training, about people, and so on and so forth. And so I kind of took all of that knowledge where it was a it was a it was a grind. Like I mean, my schedule basically was wake up at 3:30, get to the gym at 4:30 in the morning because I started training people at 5. I would train people because the whole training thing is like you would train people all day because they would go either before work or after work, right? So it's like I would be there until 8 at night, come home at 8:20. Fucking there's a Five Guys across the street from me. I would smash like two Five Guys burgers and two fries and go to bed and do it all over again. But I was
Yeah.
on my 12 hours a day, so it was like I was burning a shit ton of calories. But
Right.
that was the grind for a very long time, and so that was that. COVID hit, obviously everything shut down, and so that was kind of my pivoting point to okay, well, I've always been very entrepreneurial. I've always wanted to own my own business, do these things, and so that was kind of my pivot point where I was like, well, I don't know how spiritual not you guys are, whatever, whatever. But I was
Right.
like, I think God just kind of put me in a position where He was like, "Have fun, bro. Like, you want to
Yeah.
do this shit all along? Like, here's your chance." And at that time, I was I never worked for myself. I was always very like. I made a couple grand in school selling sneakers, and I was the kid doing the fucking lemonade stands. Nobody lived in my fucking road, so I was like, I don't know how I
Right.
was gonna make any money doing lemonade stands. But I would sell random shit in my parents' house. Like I remember there was like this massive thing of like there wasn't statues. I don't know what the fuck it was. I just put it on eBay and sold it all. And one day they're like, "Where the fuck is all this shit?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's gone. Like I sold it in Nebraska."
Hustler,
So
Hustlers,
motherfucker.
man.
yeah,
Yeah. Dead
yeah,
ass.
yeah. So yeah. I mean, I've always kind of been wanting to do this for a very long time. And then when 2020 happened, that was basically it. And ever since then, I've just gone fucking balls deep into everything social media, everything online coaching, and fast forward what 3.5 years, a little under 3.5 years, and now we're here. But it's funny because again, I nobody knew who the fuck I was. Nobody gave a fuck that I was making. And by the way, they shouldn't because I sucked. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Right? Like I sucked at making content. I sucked at making social media posts,
Hmm.
and I'm glad I didn't have a lot of followers because I fucking sucked. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's that whole thing of you're not perfect when you first start something. You have to go through that period of, and this is the same thing with like fitness, for example. You have to go through the period of like not knowing how to work out or not knowing how to make content and nobody giving a fuck about your content, nobody liking your post, people telling you stop fucking, I would get the stop fucking blowing up my feed with your fucking Instagram post, Eric. Like, I don't care about your fitness. And I'm like, fucking hell, geez. So it's like, you got to go through that. But speaking to what you had kind of talked about earlier with like the perseverance part of it and just continuing to, trust the process. I just knew if I kept doing the right things every single day, eventually, things were going to pay off. And trust me, I have a very, very, very long way to go. Myself and my team have a very long way to go. But it's like, now some of those seeds that were planted 3.5 years ago are starting to, kind of come about now. So all of that to say, in a very short, in a very long, long-winded answer, that's kind of how I am where I am now.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's sick as fuck, bro. And that's, I mean, the whole grinding at like a job and doing this for like a living, not running your own thing. I think that's really sick because a lot of people will take that and kind of stay stuck in that and just say, well, it's my job, and that's obviously fine, but it's like it's really dope to see that you didn't just sit on that knowledge, you took it and ran with it to do your own thing, and
Yeah.
that's I feel like what sets people apart,
Right.
'cause
Yeah, and I want to be, and I'm sorry to cut you off there,
no,
but I
you're good.
forgot. But it's like during that time, I had no income. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I was coaching two of my in-person clients online for nutrition coaching only
Uh-huh.
for $100 each. Let's just say my rent was much more than 200 fucking bucks a month, right?
Right.
So it's like I went all in because I had no other option. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
have any source of income. I didn't like how the fuck was I going to pay my bills? How the fuck was I going to put food on my table, right?
Right.
Luckily, it was only me, right? But it's like
Yeah.
still, I have these bills and shit. And I'm like, I didn't take like unemployment or shit like that. So this is the first time where it was like, it was all on me.
Sink
And
or swim. Yeah.
weirdly enough, like, and I always tell people, it's like when you don't have a fucking plan B, plan A is the best option ever because there's nothing you have no other option. Like I
Right.
wasn't moving back with my parents. I couldn't train people in person. Like there was no other option at that point. And so that's one thing I always like tell people because again I've been there where like again I had no income right, so it's like I had to scramble and try to do what I could to get things off the ground. And while that was a little bit scary at first, it's like, yeah, but the things that make you the most uncomfortable usually bring the biggest return on those investments. And so I just want to make, again, sorry to
Yeah,
cut you off, but I
that's
just
a
want
No,
to
great
make,
no,
point.
you're good. That's
No, I'm really glad you said that. That a lot of the things that make you uncomfortable or might seem like too hard at first are like, dude, that's just step one. Like sometimes you have to look at it from a different perspective. Like that thing that you think is like the worst thing ever, dude, that's just one step on the stairway to your success. So yeah, like I'm glad you said that. I want to go back a little bit and ask you um, about like how networking played into all of this because you said you were sleeping on your boy's couch and then like you had to go and get clients and like that whole hustle. Like what does that take? Because you have to like that's a certain skill set to be able to like you know uh, just have a network, right? So how did that happen for you?
it's funny. I think for me, I like I just genuinely care about people. So it's funny because people are, it's like when you actually just want the best for people and they can actually feel that, people are going to help you out. You know what I mean? And so it's like my buddy, like he let me sleep on his couch because like we're actually just buddies. We're still buddies to this day. And it's like he knows I love him and he loves me and so on and so forth. And so it's like he hooked me up with this job because he knew I wanted to start doing these things and so on and so forth. And I think that's, and again, the same thing with like I think one of the biggest reasons why my in-person coaching was successful, but also the online is successful because I mean, if you ask anybody, any one of my clients, any one of my members, anything, if there's one thing I can assure you of, if you ask them, does Eric give a fuck about you? They're gonna go over the top and say this fucking guy, like that's all he fucking cares about, right?
right.
Because it really is. That's really all. I said this on my Instagram story the other day. It's like any quote unquote success that I have is literally solely based upon the fact that I just truly want people to win and I just want to do the most I possibly can for them. And when you actually have that, I think networking or getting people to help you along the way or whatever it is, it's like I think it all just becomes a lot easier because it's not
Right.
like you're actually trying to get anything. You're just like being a
Providing
good
value.
fucking human. Yeah, you're just being a good human being, which like you know, my dad always told me this thing where he was just like, Eric, if you work hard, if you treat people right, and you're truly like you do right by people, you'll never have to worry about anything because he's like everything else is gonna just fall in place after that. And the fucker was, I guess he was a little bit right. Like it's proven true every single time to this day, where it's just show up, work, treat people really fucking good. But I think people get lost in that sometimes because they want these material things or they want these things now and they don't want to have the delayed gratification, whatever the case may be. And so they start fucking things up along the way. And I'm not willing to do that ever in my life with anything that I do. I'm not willing to fuck up what I truly know to be right for a short-term buck or this, that, and the other here and there. So I think, I don't know if to answer your question or not, but that's kind of
Absolutely,
how
yeah.
I think about like, networking and having like people who support you, people around you is just by like, you give a fuck about them, they know that, and that's going to come back in return. It's really why I have a bad. I suck at talking about myself to a degree because like I am just always so focused on providing you two motherfuckers value and the people who,
Right.
you know what I mean? And so it's like that's why I don't really talk about myself because I'm like, fuck it. I'll just rather talk to other people. But yeah, that's what I would say, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
and-
Because me and Denny talk about providing value all the time. Like with the stream, we have the same mentality where it's like, bro, if we're not providing an environment that people are enjoying themselves and like, you know, seeing a reason to come here, then what's the point? Like we have to really focus on them.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say too that that it really comes across in your content that you're just and I sent it to you in the email, but that you're a genuine person and you actually care about people. Like, it. It's funny because like a lot of people fake it, but I don't know, dude. From your story posts to your reels and just the way you talk about certain subjects and like you're like, hey, don't beat yourself up. Just get back up when you fall down and you accidentally eat too much on your cheat day or like you accidentally have to that's stuff that a lot of people like don't realize internally. Like they just don't get that, and like I feel like the way you provide that value is just people can definitely tell, how genuine you are.
I fully agree.
So,
Yeah.
For fuck sure, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. No, thank you, buddy. Here, let me see. I got a bunch of fucking shits I want to ask you. So,
I'm down.
so this is just kind of like a small question, but when you started making your content, was that all you? Did you have boys that helped you like cut up clips? Were you just filming yourself on your iPhone and just sitting there editing that thing for like an hour or so?
I do everything by myself to this day. So
Fire. Yeah.
it's all it's all me, man. No, I've never hired anybody or they've never no, it's all been me. I had to learn how to do that shit, man. So yeah,
That's
to
so
this day,
fire.
it's been to the point where I eventually I think I will because I think I'm gonna start doing a little bit more things on YouTube here pretty
Yeah.
soon. But yeah, no, man, just fucking my iPhone and like, and by the way, again, like I had like I've posted this on my story before, but if you scroll back the fucking 4,000 post or whatever it is, you'll go to the very first post where like I look like an Iraqi hostage being held. Like they're just like yeah, dude. It's just, like it's seriously though. If you go back and look, you will literally agree with what I'm saying because I'm so nervous I can't even like look at the camera. The lighting fucking blows. Like the camera's so far away. It's just like it's awful. But again, go back to the thing we talked about, which is like you gotta suck. Like you have to be okay with sucking. And like in that video, I say, hey, like I know I'm not that good, and like I know this is my first post, but like hopefully I'm gonna help you guys, and hopefully this, that, and the other. And it's just like that was kind of my just like, all right, I got it out there. Now I can do whatever I want to do because it wasn't and that's where I think a lot of people they fuck up because like they're trying to go into things being perfect with it. Like,
Right.
I can't like. I'm 3.5 years into doing this every single day, multiple times a day. Like, and by the way, like I have receipts. Like, go look at how many Instagram posts.
Right.
So it's like like I'm good for it, and that's the one thing I want people to know. Yeah. It's like like I want people to know like. I didn't start off doing this shit. Like it took me a long time to be able to get to this point. But yeah, so to this day, it's still just iPhone. Fucking, I bought an external mic. Adobe Premiere Pro videoing and video editing, and it's like that's really it, man. Yeah.
That's so funny. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
I would have been like, of course he outsources all this. Look how good it looks.
Right. So you're
That's
killing
sick.
it. Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
But I think that's that's actually a funny point because like I like a lot of this is just pretty much all of it is self-taught. Like it's just like there's so much information. And I always tell people this too. How old are you guys?
26 and
25. I'll be 26 end of
Nice.
this year.
So and that's the thing, man. Like I feel like a lot of people our age, like, I mean, if you're like just a fucking killer and you're just like a fucking savage, like there's so many people who are just like fucking like lazy, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
So it's
dude. Nah.
like so that's why for me it's like there's so much information out there. If you just actually work every single day, like all this stuff like the reels or whatever, it's like it's self-taught. And so it's like
Right.
and of course I've had some people along the way help me. Like for example, I don't know if you guys know who Jordan Syed is, but he's been a big mentor of mine. He's really helped me. And so it's like I've had some people along the way, but like the video editing, I had no fucking clue. I just had to learn, bro. And again, I was willing to spend the 15, 20, 30 hours learning how to edit videos, whereas most people are just like, oh well, I don't know how to do that. Okay, okay, learn, bro. Like
Yeah.
you can learn, you know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, I think it's a really big point.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why I love Denny so much, because he has that exact same attitude of like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Let me just figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. Like that's just the mental roadblock that some people have, but you got to be a certain type of guy to just say like, no, okay.
Yeah, and that's
Then what?
because I don't know. That's my thing. It's like, you could say, oh well, I do fitness. I don't do this video editing stuff, and you've just essentially put yourself in a box. It's like, why can't you be proficient in all these different areas? You just.
Well, not only that, it's a requirement to reach your goal. So if you want to
Right.
if I want to reach my goal, I have to do it. It's not, again, going back to the no options. You don't have a fucking option, bro. Like, what do you mean? Like you're like that. Like if you would have told me when I first started coaching people, I would have to make videos, edit videos, do podcasts, write articles, write blog posts, write emails, like this, I would be like, that makes no sense. Like I'm a fitness coach, but
Right.
I realize these things are a part of the path to get to my goal, and you're gonna have to kill me before I don't reach my goal. And so it's
Right.
like I'll do whatever the fuck I have to do to reach my goal. I don't give a single fuck what it is. And that's the thing too. Like a lot of people like you say that, like, but when it really comes down to it, like, are you really gonna put all your fucking chips in and do the shit you need to do?
Right.
And because again, the receipts don't fucking lie. And so it's like, you don't know how to video edit. I don't give a fuck if you know how to or not. You got to learn, bro.
Yeah.
Like if you want to reach your goals, and again, I would, like I said, you're gonna have to kill me before I don't reach my goals, because it's a no options mentality.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take no for an answer, and I'm not gonna quit. I don't know when I'll reach them. It might be the fucking last day before I die. But like, fuck, at least I fucking reached it, and I'll never stop trying, because it's just not. Again, it's not an option. Like I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror and the person staring back at me, I'd be fucking disgusted with myself. Like
Right.
it's unacceptable to not show up every single day and do what I know is necessary. And that's the thing too. A lot of people, again, going back to like the anxiety, depression, whatever it is. Well, yeah, bro, if you're not doing the shit you know you need to do, of course you're going to look in the mirror and feel fucking bad about yourself, man. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
This is where like you have to show up. And it's I don't need people to run themselves into the ground or work as hard as I work or whatever the case may be. But if you know you're supposed to be doing shit and you're not, you gotta fucking do it. And that's the only way you're gonna solve that problem of not liking that person you see in the mirror. So again, that's a whole different topic, but
No,
that was-
but you're 100% right, and it's funny because it ties back to how genuine you are, because you're genuine to yourself. That all comes down to being like having such high regard for yourself that you wouldn't let yourself down. You know what I mean? And yeah, I really resonate with that, because that is that's the sauce. That's the secret to this shit. It's just like when you could start
It's true
being the
accountability.
person, right? Once you can start being the person you are for other people, for yourself, like that's when things start to change. It's like, and like you said, like everyone knows, like to a certain degree, like what they should be doing, and that's a lot of the origin of like where people start to feel bad about themselves. It's like, damn, I should have not eaten both Whoppers, like in 2 large fries and 2 Diet Cokes, like, and just as a trivial example, but like it's like people are aware. It's just that feeling is a lot of times I feel just like trying to avoid the accountability, like what you said, Goon.
Because it's hard.
well, and I think, yeah, but it's also, I think it's uncomfortable, right? Like
Right.
we as humans, we don't like to be like
Right.
Path of
the
least
great example of
resistance.
this. If you're walking down a hallway, it's like a very narrow hallway. You're going this way, some person's going that way. What do we all do? We like fucking pull out the phone and we're like, oh, the fucking.
Yeah, right. I'm not making eye contact. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
funny.
It's like because it's like an uncomfortable scenario, but if you can just get comfortable being uncomfortable and not having to push out, I'll give you guys I'll give you guys a little nugget here. I don't not that many people know this, I don't think, but I in 2021, I'm very like a lot of people, I'm hard on myself, which I think honestly can be good to a degree, because here's why. If you use it in the right way. it was only me and I was only coaching people one-on-one at that time. I didn't have a team. I didn't have a lot of things I have right now. And so there was like a 3-day period of time where like 6 of my clients dropped off. Nothing like it's somebody moved to a different country. Somebody's like it was just random shit
Sure.
happened. But I was just like,
Yeah.
at that point, I was like, fuck, like what the fuck, man? Like that was a lot of my income. Like shit was crazy. And so that was a very uncomfortable moment for me. And I remember I was sitting at this same exact desk and I was just like, fuck, this is bad. Like I don't like the way this feels. And I was going back and forth and going back and forth and I came up with this thing. It was my 26-week challenge and I was like, I can't just sit here and fucking like let life punch me in the fucking face and do nothing about it. Like I have to fight back. Like I
Right.
can't just sit here and like let myself get my ass kicked right now. I have to fight back. And so what I did was I was like, I have to work harder. It wasn't like oh, things aren't going my way or like, oh my God. It was like, I have to do more. I have to
Yeah.
work harder. I have to put in more. I'm not putting in enough. I got to do more and more and more. And so that was what I did. I made this 26-week challenge where it was like, I had to do 5 podcasts per week. I had to do like 4 Instagram live per week. It was all these things where it was like more, more, more.
Right. Yeah.
That like 26-week period of time changed the trajectory of my business forever because of the work that I put in right there. So that one thing that was like super uncomfortable and made me very, very scared, to be honest with you, ended up being one of, if not the best things that has ever happened to me thus far from a business and like personal development perspective, because I took that and I was like, all right, bro, like this is very uncomfortable, but like you have to do more. What are you going to do about it? Don't
Right.
just sit there. Don't lay down. Like I think of like a boxing analogy. If you're on the ropes just getting your fucking face beat in, like you got to fight back, bro. Don't
Yeah.
just lay down and fucking take it. You have to be able to fight back. And so I think it's where a lot of people when it gets uncomfortable, don't let that uncomfortable feeling kind of like either do one of two things: make you do nothing, or try to numb it with food, or numb it with alcohol, or numb it with this, that, and the other. Because the more you try to get yourself out of that uncomfortable scenario as quickly as possible, well, then you're never going to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
No.
what's worse, being uncomfortable or not accomplishing your dreams?
Right.
Not being surrounded by the
Right.
people that you love.
Yeah.
Not being happy with your life.
Yeah.
Like, what's really worse at the end of the day? But of course, like delayed gratification and shit, people just don't want to, go the more difficult option, right? They want to go down the path of least resistance, so they're just
Yeah.
more comfortable because that's easy.
And I
But,
mean,
like,
it shows.
well,
I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot of people nowadays that I mean, there's a whole section of TikTok where just people crying. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
what do you think about that, Eric? We need to know your official opinion on crying TikTok.
Well, it's funny because I'm actually very, very good at this. I don't like consume a lot of content. Like you won't catch me like scrolling or whatever.
Right, right.
There's a few people like I like social media because there's a few people I'll kind of check out, a few people I care about, some of my friends, people I look up to, whatever. But the thing that you're really talking about is more like the victim culture, the victim mentality. This is just, oh my God, this is happening to me, and like guys, you'll never believe. And it's just like fucking like it's one thing to like be authentic or like let people know what's going on or whatever the case may be, but it's like
Right.
the victim culture. It's like even the people commenting being like, oh, it's okay, they're like, can you like stop, like don't like
Right.
you know what I mean? Like they're just saying that just like, and it's a really bad feedback loop because those people will just like pray like it.
Yeah.
They make
On
themselves,
empathy.
yeah, they make themselves feel better by like just like, but they don't do anything about it. They're just
Yeah.
like the victim culture. It's like, woe is me, this is happening to me. Whereas again, going back to like, okay, this is happening, this blows, but what can I do to make it better? And that's one thing,
Yeah.
like I've made a few posts myself where I'm like, yo, like I remember like the week before my vacation, I was fucking ran into the ground, bro. I was tired as fuck. And I was just like, yo, I'm tired as fuck, but this, and this. I'm gonna keep going. This is normal. This is okay. I'm gonna keep pushing this, that, and the other. And it's just like, it's okay to not fucking be okay all the time or whatever it is, but to use that as like this victim culture and this victim mentality just to like get likes or get views or get
Yeah.
shares.
Yeah.
Stop, man.
Yeah.
Like not only stop from the person, but stop from the people. Like you're okay, because you're not doing that person any service. You're actually doing them a disservice. Like a lot of things I say, like people don't like to fucking hear, hey, like you're not losing weight because you're eating too many calories,
Yep.
or like you have to make sure you get up and go to the gym. Like those are hard things to hear, but I know that's going to serve that person in the long run, and I can do it in a way where I'm not being a fucking asshole about it, right? But it's like
Right, of
I tell
course.
people things they need to hear because like that's what's actually going to get you better in your life, not just feeding into your like, oh, well, I'll just tell you what you want to hear for right now. Like that doesn't really do anything for people.
So do you
Yeah.
do you have trouble with people that just want to be told what they want to hear? Like how do you personally navigate through that?
If that's somebody, like they're probably not gonna be in my, and that's, I think it's a cool thing about
Right.
social media too, because like I don't attract those kind of people.
Hmm.
And if I do, they're at least people who are open-minded to like taking some sort of personal responsibility. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because it's like I think that's really one of my biggest things is like, again, I'm here to help and facilitate and make a positive impact as much as I can. But like we said earlier, it's like you have to take your own life into your own hands at some point. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to pull you out of this thing. Nobody's going to like magically show up and like make the biggest difference. Like you're going to have to do this. And so if someone doesn't like what I say and it's not what they want to hear, that's fine. But I've also had people literally DM me and be like, Eric, I saw a video of yours 6 months ago. Thought you were a fucking douchebag because you fucking cuss and you said this, this, and this. And they were like, but now here I am 6 months later. I realize you're actually right. I follow you. You've changed my life. Thank you so much. And it's just
Right.
like, I would, again, talking about like the delayed gratification, I would much rather have that than just, again, pander to people's short term emotions, not actually helping them at all.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
And I,
We have that same value too of just like, dude, with all due respect, fuck your feelings, okay?
Yeah,
Like,
like-
this, like we're just trying to help everyone, and if you don't want to take that advice, that's totally
You don't
fine.
have
We're not
to.
gonna judge you for it, but with all due respect, f your feelings.
yeah, no, and
and that,
it's
no,
the whole idea of like I think it was Charles Munger, like the dude that's like with Warren Buffett. He said this where it's like, it's the survivorship versus the victimhood mentality. Are you a victim or are you a survivor? And that is literally what's going to make the difference. That's it.
Yeah.
And I just want to say because I saw this post a while ago, and I thought it was really good because it ties into the fact to what you're saying right now, where it's like sometimes you have to tell people what they have to hear, and you posted it on your story, I think, and it was like this chick being like, "Oh, well, that's offensive." And you were like, listen, I'm not saying you should hate yourself. I'm not saying you should fucking, you're less of a person. But the truth is, you should try and get into better shape for your
Yeah.
health.
yeah.
That's a better standard for society than just, do whatever you want.
Be happy.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I'll never. I mean, it's just not something I'm never gonna do it. Like you'll never catch me. Just like I just not. It's not what I'm about. It's not what I believe. It's not. And again, I mean, offensive. I fucking
Right.
you. It's a choice. Like it's a choice to be offended by something, right? So it's like
Yeah.
there's plenty. I mean the comments I get on a day-to-day basis, like you know what I mean? Like I
I
could
can't
very
imagine.
I mean, but it's like I could very easily choose to be offended, but it's like
Yeah.
I could use that same 6 minutes of being offended to being productive and moving forward and pushing positivity. So it's like it's a choice, right? And it's
Yeah.
like that's the thing too. It's a choice. Not everything's gonna be, and like so for the feelings, for example, bro, we're human. Like you're gonna have emotions, you're gonna have feelings. It's not that like your emotions or feelings are not valid. They are, but it's just like accept them for what they are and move on. Like
Right.
it's not about don't feel. It's like feel sad. I don't give a fuck. Like
Yeah.
there's sad shit that happens, but it's like
There's shit to feel
okay,
sad
accept
about.
it. Yeah, accept it, and then move forward from it. What are we then going to do? Because that's a lot of the things. Again, going back to what we talked about earlier, which is like a lot of people try to get out of these uncomfortable situations or feelings or emotions, and they try to like shove it under the rug. And it's like just accept that's the way you feel, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want from there because it doesn't control you anymore. So I think that's a really really big thing as well.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just the acknowledgement does so much more than just constantly trying to push it away. Um, you know,
Yeah, like if you have the mentality of just I'm gonna get this done always, and you never put anything off, if you just get things done when you think about them, like how are you gonna lose?
Right.
Because you're just gonna constantly be making the right decision, right? You're constantly getting the thing done instead of putting it off. if you just try and uphold that as much as possible, you can't really lose.
And Eric, I don't know if you do you meditate at all?
Well, I don't really meditate. What I do is, well, honestly, the gym is my place where I can just like
Sure.
kind of
Yeah, yeah.
zone.
Bars.
Um, but what I also do is every night before I go to bed, I just pray.
Okay.
I pray out loud, and then also in the morning, I've been really liking this. In the morning, I've been taking my cold showers, and so I take my cold shower, and then I pray again, and I also visualize. So I'll be in the cold shower for about 5 to 6 minutes, just praying, visualizing. I've been really, really liking that.
Yeah.
And I read. I love reading as
Yeah.
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
Dude,
yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. So on visualization, right? I'm reading Think and Grow Rich right now, and
Mhm.
it talks a lot about kind of what you just said, like saying your goals out loud or like saying affirmations out loud, and then like vividly visualizing things. Can you talk about what your opinion is on like that and goal setting
Have you read
and
that
stuff
book
like
too?
that? Have you read that book too, by the way?
No, I haven't read that book. I have read The Magic of Thinking Big. That's a really it's similar. I think it's a similar concept. That's a really good book as well. Um, but in terms of the visualization piece of it, it's funny. I was like doing that. So there's a couple things on this.
Hmm.
I was doing that before I even knew like what the fuck that was because
Right.
again, when I was like 17, 18, 19, my parents both worked full time. I worked full time. I went to school full time. And so it was like I had a lot of time to myself. And I had a lot of time in, I call it isolation, to be honest with you. And so I would use that time. I remember sitting on my parents' couch, just like thinking about, so I wanted to move to this place where I'm at right now. Like this same area, I
Wow.
wanted to move here because I
Yeah.
was just like, like again, I come from like a small fucking town in Maryland, and like Northern Virginia is a very wealthy, affluent area.
Mm.
And so I was like, I just fucking want to be around rich people. So I'm
Yeah,
like, cool,
yeah.
I want to move there one day, right? And I was like, I want to move there. I want to get my apartment. I want to be on the top floor of my apartment because I like being on the top floor. And like, I
Yeah.
want to be in a gated community. I'm in a gated, like all of those
Yeah.
things that I was kind of just like thinking that I wanted to do, they all came to fruition, right? So it's like that was before I even really knew what the fuck it was. I was just like, oh, will be super sick to kind of like do that, and I would just
Mhm.
think about it over and over and over and over. Same thing being a trainer. I was like, all right, one day I want to own my personal training business. Again, I was cool. Like I wanted to do that shit, right?
Mhm.
So I was kind of doing that, and it all kind of came to fruition. And I'll be honest with you, because life got kind of so crazy busy, I almost like fell out of doing that. And then recently, I'd say in the past like year or two or so, I kind of got back into it. And really, I would say the past 6 months, I've gotten really, 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 really more dialed in on it in terms of like being very specific and like, I mean, I could take you through my entire visualization thing right now that I do multiple times a day, every single day. It's like, piece for piece, word for word. It's just
Yeah.
like, that's really what I'm thinking on just on a day to day to day by day basis. And I think I listen to, I think one of the guys that I really, really, one of the only real people I talk about, like people I follow on social media.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys know who Andy Frisella is. He created 75 Hard.
Oh, dude,
So
I've been wanting to do, I've been
Yeah, Danny
considering
showed me
doing it.
that like I think it
Our
was like
boy
two
did it,
months ago
and
or
it's
something.
super
yeah,
sick. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that
Yeah,
concept. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So he's been a massive, massive influence for me. Again, dating back to like the high school days where, he's just massive influence. And so he did a podcast on it a little while ago, and I was like, fuck, I gotta get back on this. And I was just like, from that day, that's when I was kind of just like multiple times a day, every single day, visualization, making it real, making it like cementing into it, taking time. And at first it was kind of tough for me because it was just like again with I think with the world that we live in, everything's like social media, Instagram, quick, 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 this, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
for me, kind of carving out that time to be like shit, I gotta like really think about it, this, that, and the
Yeah.
other, and so it was a little tough at first, but now again, it's just like I'm rocking and rolling with it. So I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer. Obviously the visualizations I have haven't come to fruition yet, but that's because they're big fucking goals that are going to take a
Yeah.
little while to kind of excuse me, kind of hit. So yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that's sick. I mean, and you also mentioned you prayed because when I remember hearing about like that idea of visualization to like just like help you achieve your goals, just it's just a constant reminder like that people in the mundane of their lives just gets shoved right in the back. They don't think about it, and then 3 weeks go by, they're like, oh yeah. I did want to get like buy this thing or like try and
Yeah.
achieve this goal. So it's funny. When I had first heard about that concept, to me it sounds like prayer. You know what I mean? Like where it's like you're because you're taking a moment, you're really feeling and visualizing this thing, and you're feeling grateful for like the fact that it's here already. As as you're
Mhm.
visualizing it, and
Mhm.
I don't know, man. That to me is like a form of prayer. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. Yep.
but no, that's sick, bro. Now, are you like religious, or do you just like pray? Cause like, yeah,
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 no. Well, and so, but here's my thing. Like, and people have different like opinions on this, obviously. But like,
yeah,
I know people who like go to church every Sunday and they're fucking pieces of shit. And so I'm
sure,
like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and they're like, oh, you're not. And I'm like, fuck off, dude.
yeah,
So, no, again, I mean, I'm very, I guess the right word might be like faith. Like,
yeah.
my faith would be more like, you know what I mean? Like, I
Hmm.
don't really like, oh, religion this. It's like, to be real frank with you, I don't know the difference between like a Christian or like a Catholic. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
so, like,
yeah,
for me, it's just more like, I know somebody like none
yeah,
of this cool shit that's happening to me would happen without somebody watching over. And literally every single
yeah.
like there's shit that happens every single day where I look up and I'm just like, bro, you fucking did that shit. I'm like, damn, man. I'm like, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so like I'll be thinking about something over and over and like something happens and I look up and I'm just like, bro, like, man, that's crazy. Like it's just it wouldn't happen otherwise. And so I guess you could say like the faith aspect of it.
No,
Yeah.
and I that's you know pretty much exactly how I feel about it. Where it's like, you'll just have moments where you're like, no fucking, like this could only happen with some other
100%.
force. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, I
Yeah, it's
definitely resonate
stupid to
with that.
try and like toy around with what it is, or like, just trust the process. That's all you
Yeah,
have to do.
it's you're
Like
just
that's what he's telling you. It's
yeah,
just keep
right.
going. So why bother sitting there being like, well, actually, I'm a
Mhm.
non-denominational
Yeah, right.
Protestant. It's like, dude, just who cares?
Just praise God. Yeah, and that's a thing too that I feel like I really like the whole gratitude practices that like have been going around and like is becoming more mainstream because I I went to Catholic school for a majority of my life, and you always say grace, right? And I was in high school and shit, I was like, oh fuck this is stupid, whatever, I don't believe in God, whatever. But like as I've not much older, but as I've gotten older, I realized like taking that moment to just sit down and just not pray to God, but feel gratitude for whatever it is you have, whether it's that plate of food or you woke up and you're feeling better today, you're not sick, you know, I think that is also a form of prayer where you're like, yo, just thank God I have enough to eat this breakfast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel
Yeah.
like so many people don't do that.
Well, it's funny. I mean, like I said, every night before I go to bed, every morning I wake up, I mean, I just like I'm like, hey, thank you for my health, thank you for my parents' health, thank you for what I mean, thank you for putting me in a position to
Yeah.
positively impact people. And it's just like you gotta be grateful, dude, because it's like what again, it's funny actually going back to Andy Frisella, he talks about this, but he's like, one of the things that really drives people to feel accomplished and feel like they're moving in the right direction is gratitude, because if you're not
Yeah.
practicing gratitude, you're never going to feel like things are moving in the right direction. You never feel like things are enough. You'll never feel, you'll
Right.
never feel that satisfaction or that sense of accomplishment. And so I think it is really important to practice that, like every single day, practice that gratitude, because again, if not, like it's not going to keep coming to you. You know what I mean? And so you
Right,
have to be
exactly.
when it's here, you have to be able to stop and kind of have that. Yeah.
Right, exactly, because nothing's guaranteed, man, and it's all a blessing.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
the simple fact that
The sun.
the sun, we have running water, and I mean it's not healthy, but you can go to McDonald's and buy fucking a day's worth of food for $5. Like that's all as shitty, as basic as people like, as much as people take it for granted. It is such a blessing, like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
no, 100%. Let me see. How's your day going, brother? How what'd you do today?
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Bro, day's been great, man. I just wake up and I just I didn't train today, so I just woke up and got right into my work.
Mm,
I wake up around like fourth. Oh, I wake up, take my cold shower, just go right into my work. So it's been rocking and rolling since then, man. Yeah, things have been going pretty well today, dude. So
fire,
just
brother.
trying to knock off my. I have this thing where every single day I write down like my 3 to 5 like critical tasks I have to get done every single day. Again,
Mm-hmm.
Andy Frisella talked about this on his as well. He calls it his power list, but just like my 5 things I got to do every single day, like every single
Non-negotiables.
day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 5 things to move forward. Not like busy work shit. Just more like what are the 3 to 5 main things you have to get done to move forward. So this
Right.
right here, I'm getting it done. Getting one of them
Hey.
done right now. So you're, yeah, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, man.
Nice.
Yeah, no, and God bless,
Yeah,
bro. We
I
really
love that
appreciate.
practice of like just like looking at the day and saying like, I need to complete 3 objectives before it turns tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like that. Like I think that's such an important concept. More people need to instill in their lives.
Well, you know, it's funny because I mean, if you look at all these, I literally have nothing but endless.
This man's
No,
killing
really.
trees.
I mean, bro, 100%. But like, bro, seriously, this. I mean, this is all dating back from 3.5, 4 years ago. You know what I mean? And so it's like every single one of these days is me getting that kill list done. And so again, people want to think about like, oh man, like you have, you have this platform, and I'm like, yeah, but you never saw the fucking 3.5 fucking years of just every
Yeah.
day.
Dude,
But again, we
gunshots.
talk about we talk about confidence in ourselves, right? Like we talk about confidence in ourselves. Like, bro, when I look at that shit, I'm like, bro, Eric, you're a bad motherfucker. I'm like, God damn, man, you've been fucking every single day, knocking
Great
that shit
interview,
off
guys.
every single day. It's like
Y'all are
I can have
blessing us with
confidence in that,
greatness.
man. And like I want people to feel that same thing, is to feel that level of confidence in yourself, because there's nothing better than that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's really really helped me.
Nice.
Trug, thank you for the
Yeah,
donut.
Trug.
We love you.
We love you so much,
Real
Trog.
ass
Thank you.
motherfucker out in the chat. We appreciate you. They love you.
Yeah, it's a great interview.
Yeah, dude. This is very cool. So I was actually gonna ask you, what's the name of that podcast? Because I'd love to watch that
Yeah,
episode.
yo, plug anything you want, please.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have the floor.
Well, it's not even my. Well, I do have a podcast if people want to go listen to it. It's just Eric Roberts Fitness Podcast. But the podcast, that was my podcast. But the other podcast I was talking about was Andy Frisella's podcast, which is it's called Real AF. So just Real
Yep,
AF.
yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, because
those
I
are
want to
those-
check. I want to check that out. Because like I was saying, I've our boy, a friend of ours, Ryan. He was telling me he did 75 hard, and I was like, bro, that's like good for you. That's insane. And he has like a program after, where I forgot what it's called, but it's just like continuing that. And I mean,
Yeah.
I've read it. I mean, it's not like the second workout is outside is what gets me, and I'm like, I just gotta commit to that one. But everything else on there, it's like that's all like. That's just a good way. That's just a good day right there. You know what I mean? Like work out for 45 minutes, read 10 minutes. Like stick to your diet, drink like 2 liters of water. Like
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
yeah, it's fire, bro. Let me just see right here.
Eric, what's your favorite Drake album? That's the only question I wrote down.
Probably Nothing Was the Same. Probably.
Hit the applause. Bass dancer.
Yeah, that is probably also
Yeah,
up there for
I
me.
feel like for a long time it was super underrated, but that's probably my favorite. That are Views. One of those two are probably.
Dude,
Views, yeah,
underrated.
Yeah, Views is definitely underrated. Now let me ask you. Here's a follow up to that. What'd you think of Honestly Nevermind?
Oh yeah, $1 million.
Dude, it's funny when it first. So I'm somebody who's very like loyal, like very very loyal. You know what I mean? So like when it first came out, I'm like, this shit's fire, bro. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing? And then like deep down, I was like, God, this shit sucks. But then actually recently, like in the past couple of months, I was like, no wait, I think this thing's actually pretty good. Like I actually like. I vibe to it now. I'm like, no, it's actually pretty good. Yeah. So I'm glad publicly I didn't say it sucked because
Because now you're like, all right, no, this shit's
yeah,
nice.
no, I was actually no, I actually fuck with it. Like I'll listen to it sometimes, like just when I'm doing like busy work or whatnot. But I don't like go out a lot. So I think that would be like cool. Like I don't know, I never even been to a club in my entire life, so I have no fucking.
No, dude,
Later.
we're taking you out and we're buying bottles, dude, on us.
Yeah, dead
We're
ass.
going popping bottles at the club.
yeah. But yeah.
So
Nice. That's me and Denny. Well, it's more Denny's favorite Drake album, right? It's like kind of
it's
up
just,
there
dude.
for me.
I remember the night it came out. We were coming back from like a show that John Alex had done, and it was me, him, and our friend Becca. And
Oh, yeah.
it came out that night, and we were back at my place, like crossfade, and I was like, "Yo, this shit is."
We were like, we have to hear the new Drake. We
Like,
can't
yeah.
do anything
Yeah.
else
Yeah.
before we listen to
Yeah.
the new Drake. And we just sat and listened to the whole album, and we were
Yeah.
just like,
Dude, I love that. My favorite songs by him are the ones that are just like him, just like giving those like life talk type things. You know what I mean?
Like
those
5
are my
p.m. in
all
in
of
New
those.
York.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
the type shit.
Yeah.
I like my favorite, like The Ride. Love The Ride. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
like songs like that. Like it's just I love just hearing that just like real rap shit. Like
Yeah.
and that's like the other like club songs are cool, you know what I mean? But it's like those are the real songs. I'm like, damn, like I like successful. That's one of my like I will play that
Yeah.
song
Yo,
forever, forever and forever. You know what I mean? And so it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah,
facts.
No, I definitely feel that. The vibe that comes off of those songs are just
yeah,
immaculate. It's just like,
yeah.
damn, like
Mm-hmm.
he really went through it type shit. Like this like we're
Dude, now
seeing him come up like
now I'm curious, what other artists do you really like and that inspired you, maybe?
Um, I would say artist that inspired me. Not really. Well, Lil Wayne. I fucking love Lil Wayne. Like I go
yeah.
back and forth so much of like who's the best rapper between him. I almost have to say Lil Wayne because he came before, but I don't know. So I love Lil Wayne. Cannot get enough of Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Um, I would say in the past couple of years, it's funny when so obviously rest in peace, Young Dolph. But when
Oh
Yo,
Young Dolph
yeah.
first came out, like I fucked with him, but it wasn't like real heavy. But now it's like, bro, I'll bump Dolph all day long, bro. Like I
Yeah.
love
he
me
was
some
one of the
Dolph.
hardest rappers of all time,
Yeah,
bro. He
yeah,
just
dude,
really
yeah.
knows how to talk his shit.
Yeah, yeah. So
Right.
I
God
like
rest in
Dolph.
peace.
I fuck with Rick Ross too, especially some of those just more like again like makes you feel like a fucking boss type shit. So like
Right.
I like Rick Ross on that.
Shout out to all the
Um,
pair.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean like right now like Lil Baby, of course. I like Lil Baby. I again his like older shit. Like I remember his song the best of me I think is what it is like he just like real rap and I'm like damn that was like he just told his story like that's what I like when
Yeah,
like
yeah.
people really tell their stories, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, those ones really really come to mind for me, but it's also funny because I'm very much like I'll play that like Lil Baby trap shit and I'll immediately turn on Fall Out Boy after, so it's like I will like that's
Right.
just like 100% like who I am,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
love that.
Of course, bro. Yeah, yeah.
So
Dude,
nice.
that's sick. Let's see.
You got anything else, Danny?
Yeah,
If you
so
guys in the chat have questions, type now.
yeah,
We
yeah.
have the man, the myth right here in front of you.
yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it. I know we haven't talked actually much like fitness, and so if people have like fitness questions, I would be more than happy to
Yeah.
Mhm.
help if
Listen,
possible.
if
So
they have fitness questions, they just gotta look at your
True.
page, bro. But yeah, of
Yeah.
course, guys. Definitely, like Varian, I'm sure you have one question.
So there is
Oh, here's what Varian's gonna ask. I already know what Varian's gonna ask. How do you get? What's your Riz tactics at the gym? How would you Riz up your gym bay?
that's literally what he's gonna ask.
dude, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't fucking nah, I never have done that, and it's funny because like I know that's where a lot of people like do their thing.
Yeah.
I just literally never have. I'm just so focused on like let me just get my fucking lift in because again the for me, the gym is such a place where it's just like my oasis. I'm just like,
Sacred.
Yeah.
It's a temple.
yeah, it's just me. I'm just like, dude, I just want to get in here, like sling around some weights, like just fucking feel like a goddamn just Greek god and just like,
Right.
know about my day. You know what I mean?
That
So,
ass.
but honestly, just fucking goddamn talk to the people. You know what I mean? It's like, again, especially right now with social media, phones, like just fucking actually going back to what we started this conversation with, like just have a real conversation, bro. Like actually genuinely care about people. Like it's
Yeah.
not, you know what I mean? It's not that hard. So yeah.
Not dead ass, bro.
Yeah, because every person related to fitness that we talk to on the stream, we ask, "How do you get a girl at the gym?" And it's so funny, bro, because they all say the same thing. It's like, dude, just be a normal human being and have a reason to talk to her, and you're in the clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
That's
like,
funny.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had our boy Bobby who he's doing his first bodybuilding competition this
Nice.
June. So we were asking him about that. I think we're gonna have him on soon to like get somewhat of a physique reveal because
Yeah,
I saw,
'cause he's
dude,
looking
he looks
disgusting.
insane, bro. Like he's just like from when he started cutting, just wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still
Awesome.
massive. But hold on, our boy Trog says, "How do you overcome mental blocks on your fitness journey? The voice in your head saying not today when you know you should."
That's a phenomenal question. Who asked that?
Our friend Trog.
Trog. That's a phenomenal question. So here's what I tell people: like, you have to make it less overwhelming. So, for example, like that little voice in your head's like, "Fuck this! I don't want to get out of bed and go do this hour workout." Cool. Don't go do the hour workout, bro. Do a 5 or 10 minute workout. Just go do the warm up. Like go warm up, bro. And if you want to go back to sleep after that, like go back to sleep, bro. You still did. It's better than nothing. Like it's better than you not doing anything at all. So just go do the warm up. But funny enough, like you'll probably like go and like get started and like you'll get the blood flowing, you'll get up, you'll get out of bed, and like you'll probably just do the whole fucking thing, right?
Right.
So make it a little bit less overwhelming and just you have to just start. You have to find a way to start. Or if it's meal prep, for example, don't think about meal prepping for the entire fucking week. Like just go meal prep your lunch for the next day. Go drink a protein shake. Go make a protein shake. It's like when you have the barrier of entry so much lower, you can take action. And so if you take action, you're that's the hardest part. Because again, who has ever left the gym like feeling worse? Nobody. Like we all get done working out and we're like, "Oh, this feels so much better." But it's
Right.
like just the thought process of like starting is so overwhelming and it causes you to do nothing. And so I would say as much as possible, man, try to make it a little bit less overwhelming. Break it down to the simplest form. Fucking put your shoes on, get in the car, start the car. It's like just start taking action and you'll get there, man.
Yeah. No, dead ass, honestly. Because and also just like because I feel like that's a really good point that a lot of people miss out on, where it's like just try for like 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, if you're still not feeling it, okay. But like most of the time, you're like, well, I'm here already. Why
Yeah.
am I gonna not like?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the one, I'm sorry, one more thing to that
yeah, yeah,
too, because I'm thinking about like with diet. A lot of times people with nutrition, they're like, I can't have the alcohol, or I can't have this, or I can't have that. And it's not that you can't have it. Like, number one, you would just be simply making a choice to have or not have it, right? Like we all make choices every single day. We choose not to fucking go out and shoot people because we'll be in jail, right? So it's like,
right,
or we choose not to speed through the red light, right? It's like you
right,
can make choices, it's okay. But then beyond that, man, like don't just think about what you're like not being allowed to have or not having right there, but think about what are you gaining if you say no to that extra serving of pie. Okay, you're gaining the body you want, you're gaining more self-discipline that you want, you're going to gain more self-confidence, you're going to gain more momentum. Think about the things that are like coming to you, not just the things that like you're not allowing yourself to have or like you don't want to do, but from that what is coming to you and what will you gain in your life. So I think that was just one more little piece I want
yeah.
to throw in there.
No, and
Yeah,
that's
amazing.
fantastic because I feel like a lot of people, at least for myself, this is how I felt. It was like I've never, like, say you're out of shape. It's like I've never seen myself in shape. So it's like you don't, until you get there, you don't realize that you can get there. To go
Mm-hmm.
back to your point where you still just have to move. You got to do something. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's fantastic. So our boy Varen, homie from India, he asked, I want to ask that, what do you think is better long term for muscle growth, maintaining or a lean bulk?
To build muscle.
Yeah, for muscle growth, maintaining or a lean bulk.
Yeah, so I mean, by far, a lean bulk is going to be better for muscle growth because, so think of it like this: every single cell in your body, not just muscle cells, but every single cell in your body needs energy. Energy comes in the form of calories, right? So if you give your body maintenance calories, all of your cells that require energy, they are able to get back to this baseline level of energy. They don't have more though, because you have to remember, building muscle, your body doesn't want to fucking build muscle. You want to build muscle. I want to build muscle. Our bodies don't give a fuck about building muscle.
Great way to put it.
You
Yeah.
you have to give your body a reason to build muscle. And so when you go into this lean bulk, 2 to 300 calories above your maintenance calories, you're then going to bring all of your cells back to baseline, and then you have some extra left over. So your body is going to say, okay, well, this person's strength training, there's a stress on our body. We have these extra calories. We want to adapt to this stress that you're placing on your body. So we have these extra calories. Why not just put them towards adapting to that stress?
Hmm.
So that is then going to allow you to build muscle because the muscle building process in and of itself takes energy, takes calories, right?
Right.
So if you give your body a little bit extra calories, you will then be able to use that towards muscle building. So yeah,
Yeah, that was said really well. I like that explanation of you know, your body now has enough sources to respond to the stress, or
100%.
resources. What about main gaining?
So I'll be honest with you. Some people mean different things when they say that.
Hmm.
I like if he means like body recomp where like you're kind of in maintenance calories and like maybe trying to like lose fat, build muscle at the same time,
Yeah.
you can do a lot of that stuff when you are more like a beginner to following a real strength training program
Hmm.
because like again the stimulus needed is a bit lower,
Hmm.
so you don't need as many recovery points, you don't need as much to recover from the stress. But when you get more advanced, like myself, I've been doing this for like 11 years now, right?
Hmm.
I'm not going to be able to just like eat at maintenance calories and like build muscle. If I want to build muscle, any substantial amount of muscle, you might be able to gain like fucking this much, like what you see when you look down at yourself. But like, if you want to be able to build any substantial amount of muscle, going into that calorie surplus, I don't want to say it's the only way, but it is certainly the optimal way to
Sure.
build muscle.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, well said. Varen, me personally would not let that slide, but no, that's it's very well said. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's awesome, bro.
You have anything else, bro?
Let's see what I got. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. What do you do outside of work and fitness? Do you have anything you like to do? Play any instruments? You play like sports with your boys?
Fucking nothing.
Just
Dude, I basically just fucking work, man. Yeah,
yeah,
that's really all it is. I I love what I do. You
right.
know what I mean? And so it's like I love what I do. Oh shit, sorry.
Hmm.
I love what I do so much that like I've created an entire business around it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like I work a
You don't need
lot,
to
but
do anything else. Like you're enjoying
well,
yourself
that's
with what you're
where
doing.
yeah, I mean that's where the whole like balance thing, right? It's
Yeah.
like everybody's balance is different. Like and that's where again like people would often like even my parents would be like, "Oh, bro, like why don't you go like hang," and I'm like, I don't want to do that
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I just want to like work and like build this business and do these things. And like, that's what I want to do. And like, who knows? In like, I don't know, 15 fucking years, that might not be the case. But like right
Yeah.
now, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, and I feel you because it's like, well, it's like if you're enjoying that, then there you go. It's like it's a win-win. No, that's awesome.
100%.
Um, all right, we got one more question from our boy Alex. What's a good diet consist of for someone trying to build muscle? So, I mean, I feel like we
Kind
kind
of a
of,
general question.
yeah,
This is good. I got this.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
good. So what's a good diet? So I did a YouTube video. If you want to go check it out, you can.
Hmm.
I think the title is just like how to build muscle, how to gain muscle but not gain fat, something like that
Hmm.
is the YouTube video. But when you are going into like a calorie surplus and trying to build muscle, you are going to try to obviously number one like eat high protein. And so if I think back to like 16, 17, 18-year-old Eric,
Hmm.
all I fucking was ever concerned about was where the fuck is my protein? I would
Hmm.
kidnap it from little kids
Yes.
if I had to because it's like just got to get my protein. So
Run them.
every
Yeah.
single time you put something in your mouth, not like that unless you're into that, you need to be having protein, right?
Yeah.
You need to be having protein no matter what. So I think that would be first and foremost. And then really trying to keep a little bit of a lower fat and actually a higher carbohydrate diet because those carbohydrates are going to help fuel your workouts and fuel your muscle growth. Of course, protein helps fuel muscle. You probably know that, but the carbohydrates are going to actually get stored in your muscle cells as what we call glycogen, muscle glycogen, which is going to help you be able to push harder, lift more weight, do more reps for your workouts ahead. And so, typically speaking, a little bit of that lower fat, higher carb, moderate to high protein, that's typically what you want to aim for. And so that's why, like, you'll see like chicken and rice. It's like, okay, chicken, very low fat, carbohydrates for the rice. It's
Hmm.
like, oatmeal and egg whites. It's like again, the protein and the carbs. It's like really kind of hammering home protein and carbs as much as you can. That's usually what's going to be quote unquote best for building muscle.
Hmm. Hmm. Word. Very fire.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes sense. And it's funny. That was one of the hacks. I call it a hack because it's just like so easy. But like, prioritizing protein is just like such like
Yeah.
as someone that it was a big boy. All right, let me put it that way. Nothing crazy, but decently overweight. I like once I realized, oh, I could just eat a good amount of this, and I won't want anything else. Like I'm gonna be good. Like
Right.
that was a huge hack for me. Even to this day, like if I'm not like super focused on my diet, I'm just like, all right, well, I'll just make sure to get a decent amount of protein. You know?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's crazy. Shout out chickens and shit.
The birds.
Birds. Oh, that's
Yeah,
fun,
yo.
bro. You got any more questions,
Holy-
Goon?
I'm trying to think, but honestly, I can't even think right now.
Eric-
I literally only wrote the Drake question.
Fire.
I just had to know.
The best question. But buddy, why don't you what's some stuff you want to promote? What's some stuff you want the
Yeah.
people to know about? Some links that you want us to share.
Dude, yeah, I honestly just hit up the socials. Like I said, bro, I just want to help people. You know what I mean? And so it's like, just feel free to head to my Instagram, head to my YouTube, head to my podcast. So if you just go Eric Roberts on all social medias, Eric Roberts Fitness on all social medias, I'll probably pop up. I have my website, ericrobertsfitness.com. I have written a shit ton of in-depth articles, and so if you actually want to learn some shit, like you're really gonna fucking learn some shit there. The same with, so the Instagram and the TikTok are really cool, but if you really want to dive more in depth and just learn real shit, my website with my articles, my podcast, or my YouTube, that's where I go like really, really in depth. And that's not for everybody, but like if you want to learn real shit, like that's where I would probably head if you want to check it out.
No, that's fantastic because I didn't even realize on your website you had the blogs like that, and I'm definitely gonna check that out myself.
dope.
That's fire as fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro. Awesome, bro.
Dude, thank you so much for doing this, man. We really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
bro. Like words really can't express how grateful we are to have you on, and for you to do it and just share your story with us. And yeah, like we said, we really fuck with you. We think you're really genuine. Your advice goes a long way. It's not fucking fluff and bullshit. It really, I think it's really useful for people. So I was very eager to. When you said yes, I was like, dude, let's fucking go. Let's. Let's put the people on.
And yo, if you ever want to come back and promote a product or a blog post or whatever you want,
yeah, bro,
it's always welcome here.
Yeah, dude, let us know.
Also, like, we wanted to talk to you as I kind of this is the one question
I think I know
forgot
what it is.
about. Well, Discord. So you're new to Discord, right?
Bro, this is my first. I don't know what the fuck this shit. Well, I know like what it is, but like I've never.
Like, do you know vaguely what like servers are and like what that kind of looks like? So basically, bro, you can make a Discord server where you post your content. It's just a streamlined like
one-stop shop for
like,
you.
You can do channels for like anything, right? So you could do it for like blog posts, Instagram posts, YouTube videos, like announcements and stuff. Denny, yeah, I guess
I'm gonna just show you my screen real quick because I feel like this would be really cool for you because you have such a dope following. But like, so this is ours, for example, right? And you have like notifications, the main chat. You have like stuff like memes, music submission, just basically anything you like that you would like to base your community around.
Yeah.
And and so I think that'd be really sick. And also, I was gonna say, bro, you said you go live on Instagram, but bro, I don't know if you go live on YouTube, but that would also be really sick. I think people would love that, and I personally would tune in.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, it's actually funny because literally, so Friday I'm starting this like this YouTube course like that I'm gonna start doing. One of my buddies did it, super crushed it, and so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna rock that too. But it's funny because literally today, and I'm not bullshitting, like an hour before this, they like sent me an email like, oh hey, like we do all of our things through Discord. I'm like, oh fuck me. I'm like, okay. So yeah, it's funny because again, I really, like I said earlier, I'm gonna really try to step up my YouTube game a tad bit. So those couple things might be having to happen, man. So that's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude, definitely do that shit. And if you ever, I mean, at least for the Discord stuff, if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
We're
I definitely wanted to
help.
bring that up because I just feel like that'd be a sick way to build your network.
Right.
And just have all that.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where it's like. You have your website, which is really good because that's another just a direct way that doesn't involve social media. Instagram could take your stuff down or just go down and you're fucked. But like Discord is also one of those places where everyone that's there is there for you. It's different than like Instagram where it's like they might check in for like a couple things, So yeah, I think that'd be really cool for like the following you have.
I'll do some research, man, for sure. Thank you, fellas.
Of course, yeah. No, it's our pleasure.
And also we've recorded the call, so we're gonna send it to you so you can cut it up for clips and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Sweet, bro. I love it. Yeah, let's fucking go. I'm down. Love it.
All right, bro.
Sweet, man. I appreciate you guys, dude. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for the great chat. I fucking best part of my day. Like, thank you.
Dude,
God bless, bro.
that means the world to us.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
we're very appreciative.
Awesome, man. Thanks for joining, man.
Yeah, man. Have a great day. Listen, like we said, anytime you want to pop back in or anything, you let us know.
Thanks.
Yeah, bro. I appreciate you guys a shit ton, man. And like I said, you guys are how long have you been doing this?
Since
A little less than a year.
Yeah, we
little
started
less
in
than a year.
August.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys are fucking pretty good at this, bro. You guys are good for not doing it for that fucking long,
Yeah,
man.
thank
Damn,
you, bro.
pretty
I
impressive.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That
dude. No,
means
I just
so
want
much.
to, I want to hopefully, just bro, definitely keep going, man. Like you guys are fucking, you're definitely doing something right. Because again, like I mean, like people will like interview me or whatnot, but like you guys are doing really, really good shit, man. So I just want to say congrats.
Thank you,
Dude,
brother.
thank you, dude.
I
Holy.
really appreciate that. God bless,
Of course,
man.
bro. Of course, man. Yeah. Like I said, thank you guys so much again. Hope you guys have a great rest of your fucking day, and we'll chat soon. All right.
Yes,
Sounds
sir.
good, brother. Thank you
See
again.
you, dude.
Peace.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yo, W's in the chat. W's in the chat. Holy. W's in the fucking chat, boys. Hype's in the chat. Let's go.